Hi guys, I hope you are able to see me. Let me know in the comments if you are able to see me. I think we are live now. Okay. Hello. Hi Rishyant. Guys, just let me know if you are able to see me. Getting echo. Okay, sorry. Are you sure some are more of you getting echo? Hi Renu. Hi everyone who is joining us. Hello. Hi Sibapratim. Hi Rishyant. Hi Sai Sagar. Just let me know if you are getting an echo in my voice. It might be a temporary thing, so just let me know while we are just starting off. Good evening, Ahan. Good evening, Monica. Hi, Bhakti. Hi, Rishan. Yeah, okay. Hi, Shubham. Yeah, good to see all of you guys who have joined us. Good to see all of you guys who keep coming back every week. So good to have all of you here. Hi, Shivam. Hi, Sayali. Hi, Anil. Hi, all of you guys who are joining us. So basically in this stream, I'll be giving you a few tips. I wish somebody had told me before actually joining MBA what to do to build your profile for MBA. So this is advice for anybody who is preparing for CAT for what they should aim, not just for CAT but beyond CAT, because you have to sit for interviews. After interviews, even after you're selected, you will have to sit for summer placements and all of that. So you should be prepared for that. And once you are once the CAT is done, there is very little time to actually prepare for the interview stage. So you should start preparing from now on. So that is what we'll be focusing on in this. Basically, what you should be doing alongside CAT to pad up the profile a bit for your interviews, etc. So good to see all of you guys over here. The guys who are joining, I'd request you guys please like the stream. It would make a lot of it would encourage us a lot if you guys like the stream. It motivates us to have more of these streams. So please like the stream. And hi everyone who has joined us. Hi Anil. Hi Rakshita. Hi. Okay, feeling the class problems are too hard. Don't be depressed. See, basically what happens is that when somebody challenges you, you can feel that demotivated by the fact that you are not able to solve the challenge, but essentially the bar is keeps going higher, but you are also rising with that bar. You don't realize that you are rising with the bar because the bar always seems slightly above your head. But the point is that we are raising you with each level or each difficult problem as such. So do not feel demotivated. When you finally understand how to solve it, you would have learned something new, you would have improved, and that is going to actually work on CAT day. Giving you something that you can easily jump over or easily solve would not really help you in terms of actually cracking CAT. So we keep challenging you, but you are also improving with each challenge. So don't forget that. Do not feel demotivated by the difficulty of the problem. The problems are difficult, but with each difficult problem, you become stronger. Okay. Hi Bhakti. Hi. Okay. Is anybody else not able to hear me? I think you might just have some issues with that disk. If you have any audio quality issues, just let me know and I'll try to fix that. If anybody else is not able to hear me or something of that sort, I'm waitlisted by a far margin. I had 96.94, but if I take a drop again, that would be a 2-year gap. What to do? See, normally 2-year gaps are kind of difficult to convert with that. But given the fact that because of the pandemic, a lot of people have had long gaps, it's not an insurmountable gap as such. But I would suggest that try to get a job in the meantime. Even if you are taking another year to crack CAT, try to get a job, because things are like the pandemic was an excuse and would be a fair excuse for 1-year gap as such. But now things have reopened, so try to get a job or try to at least find something to do in that time. Maybe work on a even if you can say that I worked on a startup idea as such. Even if that is just something that you are doing part-time, that would also be more effective than just sitting and preparing for CAT. Because again, just sitting and preparing for CAT, after some time, it would having like 8 hours a day to dedicate to CAT would not really add that much over having 4 hours a day. So try to get a job in the meanwhile. Okay, so good to see all of you guys who have come. Hi everyone who has come over here. A request to all those who have joined, please like the stream. I see a lot of guys watching but not that many likes. So guys, please like the stream, and if anybody is preparing for CAT, please share this with them so that they will also know what they should be doing from now on till after CAT, so that they know how exactly to prepare for the interview stage also. See, after CAT you don't get that much time to actually prepare for interview stage, so that's why I'm telling you now what changes you should be making now so that you can prepare for CAT. Okay, good to see all of you guys over here. Currently in BBA first year and wanted to prepare for CAT and score high, but I don't know how. Okay, don't worry, we'll be there to help you with the preparation. So just keep on working every single day. If you are subscribed to Cracku's batch schedule, just follow the batch schedule. For those who are looking for a guided preparation, do check out our Cracku's CAT batches. So basically in the batch schedule, we basically give you what to do every single day. So you have day-wise tasks, you have a fixed schedule, and you are told that okay, on day this you have to see this particular concept, solve this concept test and practice from here. So you are given proper guidance every step of the way. So do check out Cracku's CAT batches if you are looking for like I advise on preparation. Even if you're not taking Cracku's CAT batch, I would recommend that at least download our schedule as such. You can follow that at your own pace using your own resources, but you should have a schedule going in, because without a schedule it will be difficult to crack CAT. Okay. Hi everyone. Hi Anshu. Hi. I'm able to do only the daily schedule, not much getting time to do the study room. How much time should I devote to a preparation? Pranav, if you're doing the daily schedule now properly, that is enough. You should amp up the study room from like say August or September onwards. So in August, September, you will be starting to get regular study room goals. So then basically your concept load will become lesser, because then we'll be giving you less important concepts or less weightage concepts. Now we are giving you arithmetic, algebra, etc., which are the more important concepts. Later on, you will have the less important concepts like number systems, PNC, which come with lesser frequency in actual CAT. Not that you should ignore them, but they have less weightage. At that time, we will be giving you the study room goals so that you amp up your preparation by shifting from concept learning to practice. Okay, so we will be taking care of that. Okay, I got into ITM Business School. Thank you very much. Thank you, Keshav. Thank you for the supercharge and thank you for the thanks. Thank you very, very much. This means a lot to us. Okay, so, and I'm really glad that you were able to get into a very good school, and best of luck to you and best of luck for your future also. Okay. Okay, any profile building for CA dropout? I'll actually be going through all of that. So, just going through all of that, I'm recently joined, okay, good extracurriculars, position of responsibility, currently working. Aim is black eye. What else should I do to this? I'll be going through that, Naman. And my work ex of 10 months enough for IIM. See, Rujita, 10 months work experience is essentially kind of considered like you are a fresher. It's not, it will be counted, I think, if you're completing only 10 months, I think it might get won't get a 1 score also, 1 year score of work experience. But still, what you should work on right now is basically what else you can show within that work experience in terms of positions of responsibility, projects that you have done. So I'll go start with that. So let's get started. The first thing of advice that I'll actually give to you, this is something that I learned after joining IIMA. This is something that I had never done before joining IIMA, even though I had made a resume before that. That is basically the concept of a master resume. So a master resume is basically you sit with all of your certificates from your like 5th standard, whatever school, everything that you have collected over time. Just basically sit with all of your certificates and write down all the certificates that you have, everything that you have earned from like childhood onwards. Basically, this is basically the no filter resume. There is nothing that is thrown out, there is nothing that is removed, there is nothing that is not considered. So essentially the point of the master resume is basically to have a complete like a database of everything you have done. So what happens is that once you have that master resume, it's easy to edit it out. But if you do not have a master resume, it's difficult to say what should go on and what should go off. See, basically, if you have like n things and they are scattered in the form of like certificates here, there, it's difficult to make a one pager out of them. But if you have 3 pages, it's easy to edit out and say this is less important, this is less important, this is less important, and make one pager out of it. So the thing that you should first work on is a concept called master resume. Just one day sit with all your certificates and write down the points for every single certificate that you have earned. And it's not just that, okay, I got first place over here, I got second place over here, I got this medal over here. Every single point needs to be quantified to a greater extent. So if you won the first place, basically you have to write that I got first place in this competition among these many these many applicants or these many students. I stood first in my high school among these many students. I was, if you have like come as 5th or 6th, you should be able to say that you were like the top 5% or top 2% of your batch. So basically whatever point you write, you should also write down how many people were there, how many people were part of it, how big was it, basically was it at state level, was it at national level, if it was at national level, how many people had applied. So for example, for KVPY, you should know that how many people had applied for that particular scholarship and how many people were selected. So you can say that, okay, top 2% of applicants or something like that. So write down every point, and in each point you should try to quantify what the measure of success was or what was the level of achievement as such. Even in your college, even if you didn't stand in the first 3, even if you were 5th, 6th, 10th, I was like 9th in my college batch, but because I had a batch of like 85 or 80, something like that, I could say that I was like top 10% or something like that. And top 10% in your college batch is also something you can actually put on your resume. So always try to find out what was the academic achievement and try to quantify it as much as possible. Okay, so always first start off by making this master resume. You might feel that, okay, why write something which you won in like 7th standard or 8th standard? But the point is that once you have that master database, it becomes easier for you to say that, okay, this doesn't come in, this comes in, this should not go in, this should go in. And even if it was something that you did in your 7th grade, but if you actually reached a state level or a national level, it should still come in your resume. It should still make it because of the level of achievement. Okay, so always first start with making the master resume. In your master resume, think of the sections as, first is your academic record. So basically from your 10th standard, what is your percentage? In your percentage, write what is like basically the name of your school or college, the board, the percentage marks out of percentage or basically grade out of grade, and you also write the like your top 10%, top 5%, first out of these many people. Write that down. First basically start with making that academic record. The second is basically academic achievements. So here you should put in everything. Do not start by editing by saying, okay, my 10th grade, 10th standard things are not relevant. Start by putting everything that you have. Even if it is like honor society in 7th standard, put it. Because again, it is easy to edit out. But it is difficult to actually say that or forget something, and if it was something very exceptional, it should not actually go because you didn't go through that particular this. So put every single thing, you can edit it out later. Every single prize you have won, every single certificate you have gotten, make sure that you write it down and quantify it to the best of your knowledge. So basically, even if you stood first, you should write down out of how many students you stood first. Start by doing this. So once you start by doing this, okay, you start to see where the gaps in your profile are. Once you identify the gaps in your profile, then you can try to see what you should do to actually fill those gaps. But the first thing that you should do is make this master resume, get a good sense of where your profile is. And this is a very, very demoralizing this actually because you kind of feel you have not done enough. You kind of feel that you should have done more in your life, that you don't have enough certificates, there is nothing to write about. And this is also comes from this sense of like self-deprecation that most people have, that I have my certificates are not as good, this is only 2nd place or this is only 3rd place. You kind of feel deflated as such. So basically, do not judge your resume, do not judge what your profile is, just accumulate it. Think of it as a database rather than your actual resume. But this will actually help you get a clarity of where the gaps are. Because if you have nothing to put in terms of like positions of responsibility, you know that there's a problem over there. If you have nothing to put in terms of extracurricular interest or extracurricular records, then you know that you have an issue over there. So first start off with this master resume, write down your academic record, academic achievements, extracurricular achievements. These are not interests but extracurricular achievements. Then your list for positions of responsibility. And lastly, you have your work experience. Work experience should come earlier. So work experience, and this should include what project you are working on, what is your role, what were the commendations you have received, any kind of appreciation certificate if you have received, any kind of sales goal you met, or anything that you received at work. It should come in your work experience. It should also, the work experience should also reflect if you are managing a team, if you are leading other people within your team, it should also show all of that, because that adds weight to your work experience. Okay, if you have received an increment, if you have an increment letter, even that would actually work. If you received a pre-placement offer, that should also go in your work experience, because a pre-placement offer indicates that you did a good job and you received an offer before you graduated. So all of those things essentially should be listed down in your work experience. And once you make that list, you should show it to somebody else so that they can give you external feedback about how your profile is. Once you get the second person to actually look at your profile, you will get an unbiased view of how your profile is, where the gaps are. So this basically works as, and last is interest. These do not really require any kind of certificates, but essentially this is also something that you need to actually develop for the sake of interviews, because much of your interviews might be focused around your interests. Okay, so once you have this list in front of you, show it to somebody and see where are the gaps. And once you have identified the gaps, you can try to work on where those gaps are and try to fill those gaps. Okay, so I'll be going through all of them one by one. There is nothing you can do about your academic record. Your academic record is filled. The only thing you can do about your academic record is basically find out the percentages of people in your class. So basically, if you stood first in your high school, so say that first among 300 students in my high school, if you were even 10th in your high school out of 300 students, you can still say that top 3% or top 4% or top 5% of your high school. So always quantify what was your academic record as much as possible, because this goes into your summer placement resume. Okay, so remember that you should even the academic record, try to quantify what it was. In your positions of responsibility, if you organized an event, if you represented your college, write that down. If you organized an event, you have to find out the number of people that attended that event, how much money was raised by that event, what was the footfall. All of those things need to be like that information gathering also you should start thinking of and doing at this moment. Especially if you are in college, it's much easier for you to gather that information now than if you are outside college. So all think of all of this, do your master resume and start doing information gathering and start showing this to somebody else so that you can get some feedback about what your profile is. I'll go on to how to actually bolster your academic courses section, but let's take a look at a few chats. Those guys who have not liked the stream, I would please request you to like the stream so that it motivates us quite a bit if you have people have liked the stream, etc. So I'll take a few questions before we go on. Okay. What is a waitlist movement that can be observed in IIMs? I don't really know, because it changes year by year. But I would suggest try to see the see like Pagal Guy or some forums. You will get a better idea over there, because the waitlist movement, I'm guessing changed pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. Okay. Okay, then BSc Chemistry ma'am does not provide any. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's okay. Don't worry. See, basically try to think of what you can actually work. You can think even if you're doing like the for example, Czech gives like Czech writing freelance work or something like that. If you can work as a freelancer also, that should also be fine. But think of how you can actually put something similar to a work experience in your work experience column. Okay. Profile building could be helpful with a 2-year gap, yes, but essentially then you will have to actually show something very concrete there. Okay, so let's come to that. I have a gap after 10th, have less marks, and then I did diploma and now BTech last year. I'm following your from March. Okay, Should I keep preparing for CAT? Absolutely, Shubham. A gap year after 10th and all of that. See, basically, a gap year can be explained. Nobody's life is perfect. Nobody's life has no hiccups or no interruptions as such. Everybody has gaps at times in their resume. Everybody faces failure. If you are able to demonstrate that you faced a setback and actually overcame that and did your engineering, you did your BTech, then you should be able to, you should actually be proud of it. Do not be defensive that you will not be able to defend that. If you overcome adversity, that is actually a plus point. So have a positive attitude about it and you can definitely crack CAT. Okay. No extracurriculars during college, a bad thing. Considering I would be working as an assistant manager. Okay. Okay. Then Anil, I would say that if you still have time, try to work on some extracurriculars now. This is something that I have seen often, that there are people who are either very academically oriented or who are introverted, who do not have any extracurriculars, and when they are working in they should try to actually build their extracurricular base. I'll give you some ideas of what you can do to actually buffer add some points to that extracurricular column, but you can still do something in your work experience role, so don't worry about that. Yeah, guys who are looking for what to actually follow during this, those who are joining us from, those who are preparing using Cracku's material, please stick to the schedule. Those who are looking for a a proper schedule to follow, do check out Cracku's batches. It will basically simplify the CAT preparation for you. You will not have to look for resources or what to do a particular day. Every day you will be told what exactly you have to do. If you guys have not yet started preparing for CAT seriously, please take a look at the previous year's papers. This is something we stress a lot for anybody who is preparing for CAT. Everybody who is preparing for CAT should take CAT previous year's papers. There are from 2017 to 2021, we have all slots. You have 14 papers to do. So 14 papers from now, even if you take one every 2 weeks, that would be enough for you to have a good idea or good preparation for CAT. These are absolutely free. So please do check out CAT previous year's papers. You can take them in mock format. You can download them as PDF. And you can basically try to take them in the CAT format, try to take them in the mock format, so that you can actually get a sense of how much you would have scored on actual CAT day. Okay, so please do start with the previous year's papers if you are just starting to prepare for CAT. I have 1 year experience and resigned my job, started my CAT preparation. Should I apply for a job or continue the preparation? Monica, I would suggest that find a job. It is always better to have a job because there are two advantages. Firstly, obviously in interviews you have more to talk about. Having a job in hand gives you more confidence also, and it also relieves a lot of pressure, because a lot of people who basically take a gap year to prepare for CAT feel an unreasonable amount of pressure. Their parents are also on their back that you have to crack it this time, you have to crack it this time because you have taken a gap year, and they are completely under a lot of pressure on CAT day. If you feel that you can take that pressure, if you feel that you won't crack under that pressure, you can stay with the gap year. But I would suggest a lot of people actually crack under that pressure. That kind of pressure is not healthy for a entrance exam. People feel very stressed out and they are not able to do their best on actual CAT day. Just to relieve that pressure and so that you are in a more confident place, try to find a job, if for nothing else, because that kind of pressure very few people are able to take and thrive in spite of that. Okay. I'm doing volunteering in an NGO and trying to do a job but didn't feel like it, so I left it. Is NGO and internship certificate enough to justify a gap year? Not really. Internship again is not some what is the duration of the internship, because otherwise, see, again, it will still be counted as a gap year. It would not be as if you were doing something during that gap year, because again, your volunteering experience, if you are doing the volunteering full time, then you might as well join that NGO as such, because if it is something that you're doing on Saturdays or Sundays or a couple of hours every week, it does not really count as a job or something that can come in the case of work experience. Again, having said that, if you can even just see this chart, the number of gap years are just so high because of the pandemic. Essentially, many people have taken gap years because of the pandemic, because of the economic situation post pandemic. So you're not alone over there. A lot of people are in the same boat. Having said that, try as much as possible to have anything which will actually you can help you justify why that gap year was there. Any kind of work experience, any kind of freelance work, anything which would actually help you justify it. Many people in the same boat as you, so do not feel demotivated or deflated by it, but try your hardest to try to get some kind of work experience. Okay. A lot of videos for this. Anshu, you can shift to the latest batch. The latest batch schedule will be a kind of a more shortened schedule. It will give you more videos to do every single day, but at least you won't have a backlog then. So basically you will start as if you are starting on day one, and it will give you, instead of giving you 2 videos a day or 3 videos a day, you will get 5 videos or 6 videos to do in the same time on the same day. So basically you can shift to the newest batch. You just write a mail to support@cracku.in and we will shift you to the newest batch, and then you can basically go ahead with the current schedule, so you don't have any backlog anymore. Okay, so those guys who are joining us right now, please like the stream, please share the stream. Okay, I will be going ahead with this. There are a lot of questions still. I will try to come back to them. Please just keep posting your questions. I'll try to come back to them. Okay, okay, so first with academic courses, the first thing is get your certificates in order, get all the hard copies, and numbers are very important. As much as possible, quantify your academic achievements. More importantly, many people forget this in their academic courses. Basically, try to figure out all the projects you have completed. This is something that many people just skip or are not aware of. But projects, especially projects that have either if this could actually be, if you're still in your undergrad, try to see if you can convert this into an academic paper. This is something you can do in your last year to bolster up your academic achievements. If you have a paper published in even a not very prestigious journal, it will still count. So try to see if you can make this into an academic paper. Even if you can't make it into an academic paper, just see if you can submit these projects somewhere where it can get accredited. If there are any kind of certifications or any kind of competitions for it, try to see whether you can actually use this in some way to get a certificate. Projects are the thing that you can use or essentially leverage to get some more extra points to write in your academic courses section. Okay, so figure out what projects that you have. If you're still in your final year, that would be an excellent opportunity for you to actually maximize that kind of point as such. Now, if you are already working, then your chances are less, your options are lesser. So over there, the things that you should try to focus on are what kind of outside certification or courses you can do to add to your academic courses. Something that is very popular with MBA students is CFA level 1, CFA level 2 and FRM. CFA level 1 is given by thousands of people, and it is not easy to pass. It is a very expensive exam. I would say that if the expense is not prohibitively high for you, definitely give it, because it's an added point and it shows that you are at least have a basic understanding of financial aspects, and that will definitely help you in your interview. CFA level 2, if you are passed, that is a very good extra added point for your resume. But level 2 happens in June. So June, that is at least the older this. If you are CFA level 2, it's a very good thing, but at least try to do CFA level 1, because that also is a good point to add to your resume. If this is too expensive, there is a easier or cheaper exam, which is FRM, which also adds to your resume. This is basically for those who are working to add or buffer up your resume to a bit, so that you have some points in your academic achievements or academic section. These are points you can add after you have passed out. Then similarly, basically see if you can if you are, like, for example, a CA student, see if you can participate in any kind of coding competitions. For example, in Top Coder, there are some longer term projects or something like that. See if you can participate in any kind of competitions related to your domain as such. If you are still in undergrad, basically this would be, if you are in last year of undergrad, try to maximize the academic achievements that you can have by writing academic papers, participating in competitions that are related to your undergrad coding. If you have mechanical engineering, either robotics competitions, anything of that sort. Or basically try teaching assignments. Teaching assignments basically, if you have, if you can arrange for like workshops or teaching workshops for like the other undergrad students. Basically, if you're in 4th year, if you can arrange for workshops for the 2nd year students or the 3rd year students, even that will add to your academic achievements as such, that you basically taught to a this might not be considered, but it is at least a point you can add. Okay, so think if you are in your undergrad, you have a lot more options, academic papers, workshops you can arrange, any kind of related competitions. After, if you've already graduated, the number of options are lesser. You will have still coding competitions or any kind of competitions, but then you will have to think of more like certifications like CFA and FRM that can actually add. Many of the other certifications aren't really taken seriously. These are some, the more difficult the exam is to pass, the more seriously it is taken. If it is very easy to pass, that won't really add any value to your resume, either in the interview stage or in like the post-interview stage when you're applying for summer placements. Okay, so just think of what is related to your field and try to find out any competitions that are there related to your field and try to apply for them. Even if they are considered as extracurriculars, you can still consider them as part of your co-curricular achievements as such. Okay, so those who have, I'll try to answer some of the questions that some of you have asked. Okay. Okay, can we add organizing an event in extracurricular? Yes, that is a position of responsibility, Biswajit. You can definitely add that, but also note down how many people actually attended that event, what was the name of the event, how many people attended the festival that it was in. All of that you should actually have numbers for. Okay, okay, 1 second, I have to go back up. Okay. Okay, I have 1 year experience. Okay, okay. Okay, IITD, MBA, Telecom. Should I leave my VGA sum of IITD? I'm not able to understand you, Sai Sagar. But if you're currently pursuing a degree, do not leave. I'm not sure I understood what it is you're asking. If you're pursuing a degree, why would you leave that at the moment? If you're pursuing a degree, complete your degree. I had quit my job now and doing certification program on IITM on data analytics. Will a gap year count as a negative in your resume? Pranav, if you have that certification program, how if you can quantify in how many hours you spent on getting the certification, that would help show that this was a serious certification program. If you can show the project work that was done, if it had applicability or anything of that sort, then that would actually add to your resume. But if it is something that, okay, if the project course took like 40 hours, then it won't add a whole lot to your resume. Okay, I have a gap year. Okay, 3.5 years work experience in a government PSU considered to be a hindrance, given that I have not worked in corporate before? Definitely not, Ayush. This government and PSU versus corporate work experience, that differentiation is not, no real interviewer in a MBA interview will make that differentiation, because whether you worked in a PSU or you worked in corporate, the expectation, the person who is looking at you will think of it as the same work experience. Do not actually go in with the mindset that this was a lesser work experience. It is definitely at par with any kind of corporate experience. I know there might be a certain bias against it at times, but do not have that in your mind. If you were if you were had a good work ethic, you should have nothing to feel as if that was in any way lesser as compared to any other corporate experience. Again, the people who are interviewing you for your MBA entrance are also working for an in a non-corporate startup, right? Non-corporate setup. They are not in a corporate setup as such. They are teaching in an IIM or in any kind of institute, university. That's also a non-corporate startup. So they are not likely to be biased against you. So don't worry about that. Okay, so if you're in your last year of graduation, as I said, maximize on the certificates that you can get. Participate in competitions, especially competitions related to your undergrad. Mechanical engineering, any kind of robotics competitions that are there. If you have any kind of competitions related to mechanical engineering, participate in that. Similarly, comms graduates, try to do like any kind of even online competitions of coding should help you. If you are able to get into any hackathon which will give you a certificate, definitely do that. Participate in as many competitions as possible. If you are in none of these, what you should definitely do is, if you are in, this might not come in your academic courses, I am coming that in extracurriculars, but attend other festivals also, and please take part in business plan competitions. This might not help you that much in your interview stage, but business plan competitions help you a lot in your summer internship placements and in placements in general. If you are able to win a summer business plan competition or anything of that sort, it helps you quite a bit in your consulting interviews, in your general marketing interviews, in your general management interviews. So try to take part in those kind of competitions at any college festival near you. So if you are still in college, go and find other college festivals which will have business plan competitions. I was going to come to that in the next slide, but do that if you're in the final year of your college, okay? And also try to be an organizer. Even if you're like a hospitality manager, that's okay. That would essentially be at least one position of responsibility in your this. I'm just coming to that. So extracurricular activities, but try to maximize the number of points you can get in the last year of your college, okay? Graduated in 2021 October month. So should I go for internships right now, because doing job will not fetch me work experience point and also affect my prep. I basically think of it in this way, that having the job will give you some amount of like at the back of your mind, you know that this is not your last ditch attempt, or this is not the only attempt that you have. Because if you graduated in October month, you are still a very fresher. You have quite a few chances that you can take for CAT. So if you have some chances, you should actually go in with for a proper work experience, so that even if CAT doesn't work out in CAT 2022 doesn't work out, you still have a chance of really doing well in CAT 2023. Now you might not need another chance, but having that confidence that this is not the last ditch effort, this isn't my last chance, it relieves so much pressure. Because essentially, if you feel that this is my only chance, you're less likely to do well than if you think that I have multiple chances. If you think that, okay, I can give this exam now, or I can give it 1 year from now, the amount of stress on you will be like so much lower. So just give yourself the more less stressful option of taking a job. If you get a job, take a job, it will make you much less stressed out come November, okay? Okay. Yeah, it is still better to get a job, because still you can speak about that job in interview stage. Even if it is for less than 1 year, you can talk about what you're doing currently. If you have just certifications, if you have just NGO work experience, it would not be enough to actually justify during the interview stage. So still get a job. If you are, even if you do not get those points, it will still be needed for that interview score as such. Okay, no extracurricular, 3-year work BCA, okay, and coming under engineering. And how to improve profile. I'm not sure whether it will be considered as engineering for all categories. You will have to take a look at that for definition given by different colleges. But how to improve profile, basically if you are in 3-year work experience, see what are the certifications you can get. More importantly, in your actual current work experience, try to see whether you can you can show positions of responsibility. Now you can show positions of responsibility in your work experience by within your work domain. You can lead a team. So you can lead a team, say that, okay, there was this potential issue, there was a quality management issue, I led a team of 3 or 4 to fix this issue, we received a commendation, I received this certificate or whatever. So basically try to work towards those goals within your work experience. Basically if your work gives out any kind of commendations or any kind of like these of appreciation, try to see how you can work towards getting those. Those are extremely important. In your ratings, see if you are consistently highly rated. So for example, if you can say that I was consistently among the top 10% rated among my batch of analysts or whatever students that like if you're the first like trainees that joined, you were always ranked in the top 10%. If you can get that kind of a that would also add to your work experience as such in terms of points. In positions of responsibility, even within your work experience, even in your workplace, if you can show that you organize activities, basically if you can show that if you have like a compelling interest, so if you have say singing or dancing and you participated in like your cultural events, if anything is happening at your workplace, you can still add that. So if you have like a football team that that meets at your company, or a like say ultimate frisbee team that works at your company, say that you participate in all of these competitions as part of your company's team. So even within the company you will have certain extracurricular activities that can go on, especially large companies. Try to see if you can get those kind of points within the work domain and outside the work domain also. Whatever are your interests, see whether there are such opportunities. There will definitely be some sports teams or that the company is involved in, some kind of sports that it organizes, some kind of events that it organizes. Try to see if you can get a certificate there. That is what you should be looking at. Okay, what if you want to don't have any extracurriculars? Do they matter enough? Basically, you should not have like a complete blank. So basically, it's understandable if you don't have a positions of responsibility as such, because it can be that you weren't that involved in organizing things, but still you should have some interest, and if an interest is compelling enough, you would have some certificates on it. So if you were a dancer, you would have some certificates on it. You might not have recent certificates on it. Even if the certificates for dance are from like 12th standard or 11th standard, 10th standard, even that is fine, because then you can show that this is something that is an enduring interest. So you can say that I'm a trained Bharatanatyam dancer and I pass these levels of Bharatanatyam. If you can say I'm a trained classical singer and I pass these levels, even if that last exam that you gave was in your 10th standard or like your school, even if you can show that this was an interest that you actually pursued for an extended period of time, that would still add to your resume. Okay, so just figure out what your interests were and what you pursued. So even if it is not something which is a competition, it's not just competition this that you have to think of. Extracurriculars include every kind of interest where you actually earned a certificate, anything of that sort. It's not really just that you participated in a competition, you beat X, Y, and Z, and that is what you can put under extracurriculars. You can show any kind of certification of something where you actually worked hard. So I'll tell you what all you can put in extracurriculars. So think of all your interest and any certificates you got for like say dancing, singing, anything of that sort. So suppose you are not somebody who is involved in dancing, singing, anything, but if you are suppose somebody who writes often, if you get your articles published in any of, even like the college magazine, okay, published articles in your college magazine also count. If you have not done anything till now, try to get something published in your college magazine. Try to write articles, try to write something so that it gets published somewhere, so that you can say that okay, I have written articles which have been published in this particular magazine. This is basically if you have at any point of time, see basically whenever you have an enduring interest, at times you can say that participation certificate does not really count. But if the participation was basically where you were representing your college or representing your city or anything of that sort, it would still count. So basically then you can say that you represented your college in this inter-college quiz competition. So if you can even show that you represented your college, your city or anything in any particular this, even if you didn't win that competition, even then it is fine, because it indicates a level of achievement to even represent your college. So if you were the chess team captain and you represented your college in a competition, even if you win or don't win, you can still say that okay, I represented my college in this particular competition. If any of your anything that you have written, anything that you have published, in anything you have said appears in any kind of published form, make a note of it, because that can also appear in your extracurricular activities. Again, as I said, participate in these actually help a lot. This is something that people go crazy for in the second year of MBA for some reason, and you're more likely to win business plan competitions then. But for the undergrad competitions, if any undergrad festival has business plan competitions, participate in them. Participate as much as possible. If you are able to win, that would add a lot of value to your resume, particularly in the MBA entrance stage and also afterwards. So participate as much as possible. Now comes the positions of responsibility. Now the first one is basically any elected position is the most important. You can get elected to any kind of position, definitely. If you are like again, most people who are in the 4th year have the elections are already over. But if you are able to get any kind of a position of responsibility where you're leading a team of people, that would add a lot of value. If not that, in your like college festival, etc., try to have an organizing role. So even if you can say that I organized this particular event, it was attended by these many people, had these many people participate, it would still count as a position of responsibility. It basically shows that you are involved in something. If this is something that can tie with an interest of yours, that would be even better. So if you are somebody who is interested in dancing and you organize a dancing competition, that would be counted as something which is very positive, because that shows an enduring interest of yours. If you are a singer and you organize a singing competition, that also shows an enduring interest. If you are somebody who is who loves writing or who loves reading also, if you can organize an event about like selecting literary pieces, or basically working for the magazine or working for the literary society within your college, even that would add value. Okay, so try to find out any kind of elected or organizing positions that you can join. Even if you are now no longer in your college, try to take responsibility for something like that at your workplace. So for example, I remember in my workplace, we used to have certain sports events, like for example, the women, girls, there was a girls handball team in my workplace, and we had handball matches as such. So basically, whatever sports or activities even your workplace is organizing, try to find something which you fit in, where you can possibly do well, and if you can earn a certificate there, that also can add to your extracurricular activities. Because it would firstly be a recent extracurricular activity, it would show that you are inclined to sports, acting, whatever performing arts that you are showing. And it would also be, if you have something that is sports related in your 10th, 12th or undergrad, you can connect it and show it that, okay, I'm continue to follow this sport even now. So if you like participated in football in your like undergrad, if you are able to show that you are still participating in football competitions in your workplace, that would show an enduring interest, something that you are really passionate about, and that would say that, yeah, this person is really into sports, something is a real football buff, and you can then show that much better on your resume than these sporadic points here, there, etc. If a connected point is there which you can connect over the years, that's very powerful on a resume. Okay. Now this comes, this is the part where you come to the NGO part. If you have very few work experience or anything of that sort, the thing that I recommend everybody to do, extracurriculars are not there, positions of responsibility are not there, go the NGO route, work on some social sector, social services social services, this, so basically education, or helping the disabled or anything of that sort. If there is a registered NGO that can give you a work experience certificate, that would count a lot. That won't take the place of an actual work experience, but in conjunction with work experience, it would help a lot. If you're not having a job, if you have something from, like say, Teach for India, which takes up a lot of time as such, you can show that I went there 3 times a week or 4 times a week, then even that would help quite a bit. But this is something that you should do consistently, not like you go twice a year or thrice a year, because that would also show in the quality of the certificate that you have, and the fact that you can't actually defend that when you when it actually comes up in an interview. So basically, I used to always suggest, so anybody who used to actually ask for advice as to how to actually buffer up this was a top advice that I gave, is that work in an NGO which is closely connected to an issue that you are passionate about. So if you are passionate about helping provide education to the like to the vulnerable sections of the society, then it would actually, that passion would show in the work you do. So a lot of people that I advised basically went and worked with Teach for India or others. There are many NGOs working on like teaching students or teaching children from underprivileged backgrounds, giving basic computer skills to like even adults from vulnerable backgrounds, skill up as such, skilling NGOs as such. So work from them, work for them in a like an extended period. So if you work now is May, by the time your interviews come, you will have many months of work experience as such. in that period of time you should have a certificate of how much time you actually spent, and if you can, if possible, try to get a position of responsibility there. So for example, somebody who I advised to basically became a volunteer organizer. So they started with volunteering, but then they became the organizer for essentially managing the volunteers. So they used to tell what volunteer has to go where, has to teach in what school, or manage what library at which school, etc. So if you can get a position of responsibility out of it, that would be perfect, because that would mean that you actually grew in your role in that particular NGO. So don't just do that, you go for 2 hours in that particular NGO and come back and get just one certificate at the end of it. Try to get involved to the extent that you get some position of responsibility out of it. So if you can show that you started as a volunteer but grew to be an organizer or a volunteer coordinator, then that would actually be a position of responsibility, recent position of responsibility for you. So try to do that. And again, not just education. Education is something that is, there are many NGOs that you can go, but try to find something you are actually passionate about. So if you are, for example, if you are passionate about sports, see if you can find out a sports-based NGO which provides like sports training for the vulnerable, or sports training for children from slums, or something like that. Something that you are truly passionate about, that you can actually defend in an interview. So if you can show continuity of that sort, that I played football, I continue to do that, I follow football, and I also teach football for like children from this, then it would be like a very nice story or a continuous story to tell as such. That would look much better on your resume than disjointed points. Okay, I'll try to take some this. One more extracurriculars that you can do, and if you have no extracurriculars, language certificates, language certifications. These are hard to get, but these add a lot of value, especially for foreign MBAs and even Indian MBAs. They add a lot of value if you can get, like, say, okay, you have crossed this particular language certification in like say German language or French language. That helps a lot. So if you can get, if you have the time, try to get language certifications. Any kind of if you can complete like dance certifications, if you have left dance, if you can complete that and get a dance certification, singing certification, any of that sort, any of those kind of certifications, if you can get, that will add to your extracurricular this. So I'll try to answer some questions. Okay, okay, sorry, Aman, I'll try to see your this. Sorry for this. Okay, how can I clear my low grad CPA? Okay, so basically CGPA, I have achieved some rank in my company worldwide, but the certificate is summoned. Should I mention it? Yes, definitely. See, basically, Abhilash, you have to, if you have a low CGPA, you have to actually have a this for it, story around it. So you say that, okay, I was take ownership of the fact that you did not initially do well in your this, you did not take it seriously, but you have realized the importance of putting in consistent effort. So at your workplace, you are one of the top performers. In your team of 10, you have consistently been rated as one of the top 5% or top 10% of that particular team. So basically, if you can say that within your team or your trainee batch, you have been in the top 5%, top 10%, that would be a turnaround story from having a low CGPA to somebody who is a top performer in their workplace. Even if it is at submitted to your department, if you can get a copy, that would be better. What to include in extracurriculars? What I just said, Vamsi, just think of every competition you have been taken part of, any interest that you have actually competed in, anything where you have gotten any kind of recognition, either being published, either being representing your college, city, anything somewhere. Just think of all of those certificates and write them down. And anything you organize, anything you were elected for, any basically if you even participated in a competition at your workplace, just write it down. You can edit it later, but essentially just first think of all the things that you have done outside of your basic requirement as such. Okay. How can I get some live projects to work on beside my job? So basically, Sanket, if you are looking for like something related to your undergrad or something related to your work experience, you might have to look at domain specific things. But if you are not looking at just that, you can see for NGOs, because they might have essentially they would have some kind of projects, or they could have work that you can actually go and contribute to. So basically you can say that, okay, the project is basically helping improve the reading like the reading levels of students in these schools, and if that is the project that NGO has, you can actually be a volunteer for that, and then maybe you can say that, okay, I volunteered in this particular project, and this project helped improve the reading levels of 1,000 students in over 20 schools and XYZ. So if you can quantify that, it can show that you actually contributed to this large social services project also. That should also help you. Okay, if you're in your second year, yes, do internships. Internships help, whether it's just MBA or not MBA, it will help you quite a bit. Program in IIMs, CAT score is important or research experience? I am not, see, CAT score would be what it would actually get you to your interview but the actual interview process, you will have to actually see the previous experience for those particular institutes. I do not have that much knowledge over there as such, Rohit. So for the doctorate, you will have to actually see previous experience as to what was being asked over there. On Amazon as a customer, I have 9 months. Yeah, again, see, Shubham, whether you get the work experience points or not, in the interview stage, you have something to actually speak. So whether it is counted as work experience in the points or not, it helps in your interview. Rather than if you have nothing to speak in your interview, this would be one of the topics that you can discuss. Okay. Okay. I think I've already answered that question for Ayush. Yes, definitely you can get a call from old IIMs, Atul, and basically focus on cracking CAT. If you have a very good CAT score, you can definitely do that. Best certificate, Vamsi, I'm not sure about that. You will have to look at the specific courses for marketing. But essentially, if it is something that you're interested in, just find out. It should not just be that you have gotten a certificate, you have completed a course. This should be something that you are actually interested in. If you are able to show a real interest in it, then have certifications. That is what is helpful, not just certifications without any real interest in that. I can mention that in my interviews that I'm planning for it. No, planning for it does not help. You will have to actually appear and clear it. Just planning for it will not help at all. How is academic achievement different from extracurricular? Academic achievement is basically something related to your exams or something which is part of your academic record. So basically, if you received any kind of place, rank in your exams, if within your exams, if you are able to get like honors or any kind of basically distinction in your exams, in your academic record, you can also mention your scores. If you have percentiles from previous CAT attempts or previous ZAT attempts, anything of that sort. If you won any kind of prizes in your co-curricular activities, for example, even coding competitions, if you are a computer science, if you had coding competitions, if you are a mech engineer, any robotic competitions, electrical engineer, anything which is related, co-curricular also you can try to put over there. Which is not unless it is like completely an external competition as such. Work experience considered during this. Again, Priyanka, for the not just the points for the work experience, you should also be considered about having something to talk about in the interviews when it comes to work experience. So for CFA and FRM is not for marketing, it is a financial courses, and they are basically a financial kind of they help show a real interest in finance, but not just finance. They show that you have put in a lot of effort to clear an exam. That's almost considered equivalent to like say many of the CA exams that you have, that inter exams, etc. It takes a lot of effort to clear many of these exams. So they are serious certifications that can help you show financial knowledge as such. Okay. Oh, Aman, 10th experience 6 months flight management at airport and 1 month sales internship. I'm not able to see this. Okay, Aman, I don't know what your question is. You just put your background. So basically try to see what all extracurricular work experience that you can put over there. And can I get my hands on a live project besides a job? I think Can we add running a wide YouTube channel as extracurricular? Yes, you can. You can put in how many subscribers are there, how many views are there. Yes, you can definitely do that. but whether it will be counted or not, or what value it would be given, I'm not sure. But you can definitely put it there, because that would be something that you can speak about during your interview phase. Content creator, yes, not work experience. It won't be counted as work experience. It is an extracurricular activity. Okay. If I do not get a job, yeah, definitely. If you have an FRM to show, or if you can show some of those certifications, that would definitely help. Okay, guys who are joining us now, please like the stream. That would motivate us quite a bit to actually hold more of these streams. And I'll go to the last part, which is in the interest section. Okay. Okay. Up to. I have 2 years experience from 20 to how now. Yeah, Shreya, basically, if you have a gap year, that is something that you have to explain in your interview. But if you have a good reason for it, that if you had to basically take a gap year, not just for preparation, but you had again, gap years are very, very common. So you have to come up with an explanation for it. If you have a good explanation, if you can sell that explanation, then it should be fine. But many people have gap years. You should not think of it as something that would derail your MBA interview as such. Okay. Okay, now the last thing that I will tell you about your interest is that this is not something that you have necessarily won in prize in. So example, reading is something that is a common interest, but you won't have any prizes in them. But still, it should be something that you can actually talk about during your interview phase. And often actually interviews are involve a lot of discussion over interest, and here they try to gauge how deep the interest is. So even if you don't have any kind of prizes in this particular field, even then try to figure out what your interest is and try to go deep into that. So even if it is reading, basically try to read from a diverse field of whatever is your liking. So for example, if you have a particular liking for like say thriller, try to read different authors within that genre. So you can actually be able to hold a conversation about that. So who are the not just like reading Dan Brown or something which is like very well known, but lesser known authors. If you can find out what are the thriller writers from India, what are the different basically even in vernacular languages, who has written what. So if you are able to have a proper conversation as if almost an expertise in your field of interest, then it would be actually something that can help you quite a bit in cracking the interview. So for example, even if your interest is say gaming, okay, if you have taken part in gaming competitions, won something in the gaming competitions, that would be a real interest. Do not feel that, okay, if it's an interest, if it's not something which is something which shows you in a very good light, that it's not an interest that you can have. Your interests are your interests. If you're really passionate about them, then they will help you. They won't hurt you. Even if it is like, many people might think that, okay, gaming or online gaming is not considered a very good or a positive interest to have. Even then, if you have won in that particular interest, it's definitely a positive. It shows like determination and ability. Okay, so in your interest, what you should basically do is, in the time that you have, research about the interest. So basically research about, so if you're reading, research about the different genres or subgenres within your particular field. So if you are into history, you should try to read as many parts within history as possible and try to define the niche that you like it. So for example, if you really are into Indian history, so you can say that I have read a lot about Indian history, particularly within this time period. So you can then kind of try to guide the conversation in that direction. Say that, okay, I'm like, I have read a lot of books about the post-independence India. Then you can have a long conversation about that. So you have to now then research about that particular this. So go deep into your particular interest, have a properly well-defined interest. So even if it is reading, try to think of a niche where you can say that I am like an expert in this particular field of reading. If you have gaming, then you should have like participate in competition, so you can show that it is a enduring interest. If you're a sports buff, you should know every single, you should keep in touch with those competitions that are occurring. You should know, you should be able to hold a conversation about that particular sporting event and try to keep in touch with that sport by actually participating in that. Essentially, if you're a football buff, try to at least participate in football among your friends or your workplace or something like that. So you can say that it's an enduring interest of yours. So research and participate as much as possible to show that your interest is real and deep. And whenever you are able to show that your interest is real and deep, the interviewing team is like very impressed by it. It helps quite a bit in showing the ability to actually follow through on an interest. If your interest is superficial, that I just basically read whenever I get time, but I'm not passionate about it, it actually creates a negative impression. It creates an impression of somebody who is not who is not driven. So some people who are very driven, very passionate will go deep into their area of interest. So I show at least that you are that person who goes deep into their area of interest. So if it's dance, you know everything about your dance. You have researched it, you have participated in the recent years. If you are into football, you know all the football statistics. You are able to answer who has won what. You are able to give like an expert opinion on this, on the number of like winnability of team A versus B. So basically show that you are passionate about something, and that would help quite a bit in your interview experience. Okay, I'll take the last bit of questions and then we'll end for today. Okay. I think your profile is good for Rupesh for IIMs, but you should now be focused on cracking this. Now you basically try to see how much extracurriculars you have, what kind of positions of responsibility you have, what kind of academic achievements you have, because that will help you clear the interview stage as such. Okay, how do you justify language certifications with a job requirement? It's not about your job requirement. You can say that language certifications, you are basically somebody who is fascinated by other cultures. So if you are somebody who, you can say there are many stories you can actually put over there. Somebody who loves to travel and who is fascinated by other cultures. That's why you have these language certifications. You learned French because you are fascinated by other cultures. Or you can say that you're a history buff, you are somebody who wants to read different histories or this, so that is why you basically did this certification. So because you can read about another culture, another country, and understand the like have a better perspective of the world. You can, if you can say that okay, you are say a fascinated by Japanese anime, and you are very interested in that, that is why you learned a particular language. Basically you have to actually show that this is something you didn't just do for the sake of the certificate, but you were interested in it for other reasons, history, art, culture, any reason that you can think of. Okay. Okay, so guys, we'll end over here. I hope I have given you some ideas to proceed, but definitely try to get as many extracurriculars. If you're in the last year of your college, try to get as many extracurriculars and positions of responsibility as possible. Even in workplace, don't think that you can't get anything at your workplace. You have definitely many opportunities in terms of sports, in terms of projects, in terms of like even organizing teams within your workplace to actually get positions of responsibility and extracurricular activities even while working. So explore those opportunities. Do not think that okay, my chance to get that is over since I have already graduated. There will still be chances. Continue to explore them. Also go deep into researching in your particular interest. Live your interest for the rest of the year, so that like every week at least spend 1 hour time to read through your interest, deep diving into your interest, so that it is something that you can easily talk about during your interview. So that is my last advice to you guys, and thank you guys a lot for joining in, and it was great to have you guys over here, and see you next time.